The 23rd Discourse. O young man! If something belongs to you, it will not pass you by, nor will it be used up by anyone else. But if something belongs to someone other than you, it will never come to you, however much you may want it and desire to possess it. There is only yesterday, which is past and gone, today, where you are right now, and tomorrow, which is yet to come. Your yesterday has become a lesson for you to apply today. As for tomorrow, it is unclear whether you will be there or not, since you have no way of knowing what tomorrow holds in store. You are going to remember what I am saying to you now. You will remember, and you will be sorry. Woe unto you! You are trading your presence with me for the profit of a grain or a few grains. What has cut you off from me is simply your ignorance of what I am involved in and what I have to say. You have completely failed to understand it, root and branch. I have talked, I have given advice, and I have not yet given up trying. You will remember after a while the good counsel I am offering you now. You will experience after death the ultimate significance of my words, and then you will recall what I am telling you. I commit my affair to Allah. 40:44 I also invoke the words of the Prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace. There is no power and no strength except through Allah, the High, the Almighty. There is nothing dearer to the believer than worshipful service. The thing that is most dear to him is getting up to perform the prayer. While he is sitting at home, his heart will be waiting for the muezzin, who is the caller of the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is he. When he hears the call to prayer, a feeling of happiness enters his heart and he flies off to the large congregational mosques or to the smaller places of worship. He rejoices when a beggar comes his way. If he has anything on him he gives it to him, because he has heard the words of the Prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace. The beggar is the gift of Allah, Almighty and glorious is he, to his servant. How could he fail to rejoice, having carried out the commandment of his Lord, Almighty and glorious is he, when he was asking him for a loan by way of the poor man's hand? The Prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace, is reported as having said, on the day of resurrection, Allah, Almighty and glorious is he, will say to his believing servants, you have preferred your life hereafter to your worldly life, and you have preferred my worship to your carnal desires. By my glory and my majesty, I did not create my garden of paradise for anything but your benefit. This is what he will say to these. As for those who are his lovers, this is what he will say to them, you have preferred me to all my creatures, to my lower world and to my other world. You have dismissed all creatures from your hearts and banished them from your innermost beings, so this my countenance is for you, my nearness is for you, and you are my servants in very truth. Among the saints there are some who partake in their own day of the food and drink of the garden of paradise and who see everything that it contains. Then there are those who pass beyond eating and drinking, become detached from creatures and invisible to them, and continue to inhabit the earth without dying, like Ilyas and Khizr. Allah, Almighty and glorious is he, has a considerable number of such invisible ones on the earth, able to see people while people cannot see them. The saints among them constitute a majority, while the eminent figures among them are a small minority, just a few isolated individuals, whose favor everyone comes seeking. It is through their agency that the earth becomes fruitful, that rain falls from the sky, and that creatures are shielded from disaster. The food and drink of the angels is the remembrance of the Lord of Truth, Almighty and glorious is he, the proclamation of his glory and the declaration of his uniqueness, the utterance of the words La ilaha illallah, meaning there is none worthy of worship except the one Almighty God. For a few individuals among the saints this comes to be their food also. How vast is the extent of your stupidity, O you who are blessed with perfect health and time for leisure! The Prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace, is reported as having said, two blessings that many people fail to appreciate are good health and leisure. You must make full use of your good health and your leisure in order to obey Allah, Almighty and glorious is he, before sickness comes to spoil your health and distracting preoccupations leave you with no more time for leisure. You must take full advantage of your affluence before you find yourself in poverty, because affluence will not last forever. Be generous in your treatment of the poor, and let them share the things in your possession, for then you will establish credit with Allah. If you do this, your Lord will treat you generously and grant you his favor both in this world and in the hereafter. Woe unto you! You must take full advantage of your life before your death arrives. You must heed the lessons taught by death, as if it were a preacher, for the Prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace, used to say, death is sufficient as a preacher. Death wears out all that is new. It brings all that is distant near. It gives the lie to everyone who claims to be telling the truth. There is no escape from death. It may arrive this very day, or even in this very hour. The matter is in the hand of someone other than you, it is not in your hands. Everything you seem to possess is merely on loan to you. Whether it be your youth, your good health, your leisure, your affluence, your poverty, or your life itself, it is with you as a loan, so you had better take good care of it. Woe unto you! How can you tell other people to be patient when you are in such a state of frantic agitation? How can you tell them to accept the divine decree when you are so dissatisfied? How can you tell them to practice detachment from this world when you have such a keen appetite for it? How can you tell them to long for the hereafter when you are quite indifferent to it? How can you tell them to put all their trust in Allah, Almighty and glorious is He, when you put your trust in anyone but Him? You are an abomination to the hearts of the champions of truth and the righteous among His servants. Surely you must have heard one of them say, do not tell someone that what he is doing is wrong, and then go and do the same thing yourself. To behave like that is very shameful indeed. You are wholly devoted to creatures, and you consist entirely of hypocrisy, so it is quite certain that you have less than the weight of a mosquito's wing to show for yourself in the presence of Allah. Your place is with the hypocrites at the lowest level of the fire of hell. To stay and bear with what I have to say is an indication of true faith, while running away from it is a sure sign of hypocrisy. O Allah, relent toward us. Do not put us to shame in this world and the hereafter, and give us in this world good, and good in the hereafter, and guard us against the torment of the fire. 2:201